Hey world, it's Ben when we come back to another video. So I want to come back with this video here because I want to just make sure that we all put things in perspective. Because when I say pay yourself first, establish an emergency fund, try to put your monies in a situation where it has intelligent energy. And what I mean by that, making sure your money makes money. Because remember, if you didn't get a chance to watch my video I had before, I talked about how money is only a measurement of your financial worth. Money doesn't exist unless you have it working towards either building wealth or spending it on consumption. That's the only thing money is good for. Consumption and building wealth. And so in this particular day and age, family, it's going to be important that you pay yourself first. Because I was just looking at the budget, and the national budget that we have, $1.4 trillion, if you look at what they're spending this money on, it's really kind of disheartening, because it really kind of lets you know that when they say the American people, we're doing it for the American people, there's no way they can even say that with a straight face. Okay, just look at what the money is going towards. Out of the $1.4 trillion, family, over almost $800 billion of that is going toward the military spending to improve military infrastructures. Those overseas, those that are hit by natural disasters, and just building up this military to be the most powerful one in the world. Now, I'm trying to understand when we go back to war, or if we was in some type of conflict right now, because how do you even justify spending or allocating that much money toward the military and not during a time of war? So we got $800 billion going toward the military, what means the remaining change that they have left over, where's it going? Okay? Because once you understand the budget, you know that if they automatically designating $800 billion in spending, okay, a budget balance, once you have spending and revenue equal. And in this particular budget, the revenue comes from what? Taxes that we pay, and from them cutting services or cutting funding to certain departments or certain bureaucracies. Unfortunately, in this particular case, the services that are being cut are services that are well needed by those that are in low economic or near poverty living conditions. And what I mean by that is Medicaid, food stamps, and housing, Section 8. Okay? Now let's take a look at this. Out of the $1.4 trillion of the budget, $800 billion goes to the military. But in order to try to balance the budget, instead of, making sure that those that are in less fortunate situations are taken care of, i.e. the poor, i.e. those that are living below the poverty line, i.e. the homeless, these actual programs are being cut. I mean, Medicaid is being cut by 22%. SNAP, which is food stamps, is being cut by 27%. Section 8 housing is being cut by 20%. And what this basically means, family, is like when you talk about the food stamp being cut, they basically going to start introducing what they call USDA food packages. Okay? Because see, what they want to do, or how they justify it, is they want to make sure that they want to improve on the nutritional value of the money that they're providing to food stamp recipients. I.e., we know what's best for you. Y'all guys are wasting money on fast food, unhealthy foods. But these are foods that are in the grocery stores. So now, if you're on food stamps, you basically going to be given what they call a food package. And it's going to consist of peanut butter, cheese, kind of reminiscent, if you think back of how they used to accommodate food stamp recipients back in the 70s and the 80s, when they gave them government cheese and the rice and the cereal. They going back to that, family, all right? Because anytime they cutting food stamp by 27%, that's telling you that they finna do an alternative No more giving you cars. No more giving those EBT cards anymore. They basically just going to give you guys food packages. Okay? Now that's crazy. Of course, $1.42 billion is going to the Air Force because remember the Air Force is the department that's over the GPS unit. So if you ever wondered, man, what does the global positioning systems come from? Who's over that? The Air Force. And if the Air Force is over GPS and the Air Force is part of the government, then guess who's watching you day and night? The government. Okay? So it's kind of unfortunate, family, because you think about making America great again, but then you also see how the most vulnerable citizens, the less fortunate citizens, are the ones that get hurt by all of these policies. And I just think it's kind of disingenuous when you kind of think about, all of this money being used toward military spending, and you have a homeless problem in America that's probably one of the worst in the world when you consider the monies and the resources we have in America. To have this many people homeless, it's inexcusable. Okay? School districts in major cities are closing many schools to cut back on spending. Example, Austin, Texas. They're closing 12 schools in the low economic areas, mind you, to save $55 million. Really? But we have a Department of Education that could easily come in and allocate funds to Austin to make sure that all those teachers, those janitors, those students that are going to be displaced are not in a bad situation. The hurricane victims, where's the money for the hurricane victims? Senior citizens, medical bills and prescription drug bills. These are individual people that are having massive problems. The homeless, school districts, which are the children, hurricane victims, okay, which are natural disaster victims, and of course the senior citizens. And I didn't even mention the veterans, even though they put something in the bill to accommodate the veterans. But come on, you know what time it is. So, family, when you look at the Tell a Lie vision and they talking about this budget, they talking about the, this deficit of almost $1 trillion. Well, I mean, they're not doing anything about it. Only people that are being hurt by it are those that are less fortunate, family. So I just want to come back with a little food for thought, family. In the meantime, between time and the Most High outside to bring you joy, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And be one is out of 5,000.